In the past year there have been a lot of new series that started serializing and a lot of new series that got axed pretty early on. Some examples of those series are Candy Flurry, Narrow the Way of the Martial Artist, ITLC, Nine Dragons Ball Parade, and that's just to name a few. But today I don't want to focus on the series that didn't make it. I want to talk about some series that started serializing this year that are actually worth reading, the ones that did make it.
Yeah.
First off, I want to say Happy New Year's everyone, and I hope you had some great ass holidays. My New Year resolutions definitely are to upload and stream more on this channel. So if you like my content and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because there's a lot of shit coming. But that's enough self-promotion, let's get into the video. To structure this video the way I want, I have decided to split this video up into sections. That being series that have started serializing through Shonen Jump magazines, some miscellaneous series that I've been reading, and last but not least, some honorable mentions that are worth checking out. But with all that said and done, let's get into all the best manga you need to read from 2021. The first new manga series that has started serializing through Shonen Jump Weekly I want to talk about is the Roman sports manga Blue Box, by newcomer to Shonen Jump Weekly Koji Miura. As of the recording of this video, 34 chapters have been released so far, and I can tell you with confidence that this manga really is one to keep an eye out for. The story follows Taiki, a third-year high school student in junior high, who attends Eimei Academy, an integrated school with a major sports program. Having joined the high school badminton team, Taiki tries to attend open practice as early as possible. But no matter how early he goes, he always arrives second in the gymnasium. The person one step ahead of him is Chinatsu, a first-year student in senior high and Taiki's crush. Chinatsu is the rising star of the basketball team, and the gap between her and Taiki could not be greater. Although Taiki is a decent badminton player, his popularity is nowhere near Chinatsu's, making it even less likely for his feelings to be reciprocated. However, in a strange twist of fate, she ends up living in Taiki's house. Wanting to become a worthy match for Chinatsu, Taiki pursues the same dream as his crush, to partake in the nationals. Taiki starts training harder than ever before, all for the sake of building a strong relationship with his new housemate. As you can probably tell from the stolen synopsis, the premise isn't that unique. Some might even say it's quite generic. The main character fears that he could never reach his high school sweetheart, and then boom! Suddenly, they're living in the same house. But I do have to say that this manga is just one of a kind in its execution of everything I've read so far. The way that Miura portrays the early stages of a loving relationship is nothing short of adorable and wholesome. Not only are both of the main characters written well, there's enough outside conflict within the sports and even the love triangle in this series. Next year, this series will probably shine even brighter than it already has so far. The new manga from the Jump Plus magazine I implore you to check out is none other than the very promising and ambitious new work by Yukinobu Tatsu, Dandadan. About 38 chapters have been released so far and it really is something else. After being aggressively rejected, Momo Ayase finds herself sulking when she stumbles across a boy being bullied. Saved by her rash kindness, the occult-obsessed boy attempts to speak to her about supernatural interests he believes they share. Rejecting his claims, Ayase proclaimed that she is instead a believer in ghosts, starting an argument between the two over which is real. In a to determine who's correct, the two decide to separately visit locations associated with both the occult and the supernatural. Ayase visiting the former and the boy visiting the latter. When the two reach their respective places, it turns out that neither of them was wrong and that both the occult and ghosts do exist. This marks the beginning of Ayase's and the boy's adventure, who happens to share a name with Ayase's favorite idol, Ken Takakura. Before I started reading this series, I was kind of worried that it wouldn't live up to its potential. Yukinobu Tatsu is really ambitious in what he tries to do within his debut, but now I can say with confidence that this is my favorite manga of the bunch that Jump has started serializing this year. It's such a bizarre yet hilarious series, with every single thing that happens making less sense than the last one. Not only is the plot just completely fucking bonkers, the art in this series is even more impressive than the art of Yuji Kaku and Ayashimon, with very neat line work, yet a gritty atmosphere and great paneling. The first new manga that's not from the Shonen Jump magazine but that's still owned by Shueisha is the newest manga by Shinichi Sakamoto, DRCL Midnight Children, which has about 11 chapters out at the time of recording this video, and it really is shaping up to be something different. DRCL Midnight Children is a story set in 19th century Britain that goes beyond borders and social status, following Minamure and her colleagues as they attempt to obtain victory against a foe from a faraway land in the east. Being based on Bram Stoker's Dracula, Shinichi Sakamoto masterfully uses the original to make a modern version of the novel, which tackles the same social issues of the time, but in a different and less bigoted light. right. The themes of sexism, racism, and even some gender norms are addressed, and because of it, this adaptation offers more than just a classic horror story, but also an interesting commentary of how society is still affected by these social issues nowadays. Not only is his work written well, the art in this manga is just as stellar as in other Sakamoto works. The last manga, before I get into the honorable mentions, I want to talk about in full is Dog and Scum by Iori Asaka, which is being serialized through Weekly Young magazine and is currently 25 chapters into the story, and I'm absolutely loving it. Haruma Sakuraba's childhood friend Shuji Inukai was a cut above him in every way imaginable, living out the glamorous life bestowed upon him. Haruma, an unassuming salaryman, has lived his everyday clutching onto his inferiority complex, existing only in Shuji's shadow. One day, Haruma coincidentally meets Shuji's wife, Reika Sumi, who Haruma has always secretly admired since his high school days. With feelings of envy, jealousy and more, a secret is born from Haruma's repetitive days. Dog and Scum really is one of the most exciting new manga that I started reading from this year. It piqued my interest the second I was done with chapter 2. The amount of hatred, love, jealousy and joy the main characters has felt in just these 25 chapters is something I haven't really experienced in any manga before. For me, this really is the best manga that I've started reading this year narratively, but that's not to say it isn't visually stunning as well. So with all of those manga out of the way, let's get into the honorable mentions of 2021. Aishaman by Uchikaku from Shonen Jump Weekly has been really promising so far. With a One Punch Man type of premise, but with a completely different style, aesthetic and world, this manga really is shaping up to be something special. The art in this manga, taking inspiration from Tatsuki Fujimoto's art style, has this gritty yet goofy style that makes it a really fun one to look at, but also admire. Of course, the manga has just started and I can't really make promises that all of the upcoming chapters are going to be as good as the first few, but I can at least promise you that it's going to be an interesting ride nonetheless. Showa Shoten by Takeshi Obata and Akinari Asakura from Jump SQ has just started, and with only those 3 chapters, I can already say that this is going to be one manga I'm going to absolutely eat up. I love manga that are completely based on getting better in a certain type of expertise. That's the same with manga like Bakuman and Blue Period. But this time it's focusing on stand-up comedy, which is a very unique premise. Not only am I enjoying the story so far, but I'm also loving the art by Takeshi Obata again. This time he went for a bit more of a cartoony style and it really fits this manga. Yomi no Tsugai by Hiromu Arakawa from Shonen Gangan is the new manga by the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist. It only has 1 chapter out at the time of recording this video and I'm already absolutely hooked. The first chapter was jam-packed with content and I'm already in love with the premise. The character designs look awesome and the art is nothing short of great. I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of it. Now we've reached the end of the video. Did you see some manga that you're interested in and planning on reading after this video? Then please leave those in the comments down below. I also hope you didn't waste your time and provided you with some awesome content. If so, please leave a like and subscribe, as I'm already looking forward for the rest of 2022. You can also follow me on Twitter and AniList for updates about the channel, and you can keep track of what I'm reading in real time. Again, thank you so much for watching, and with all that being said, this is the absolutely classic outro. You can fuck off now.